Where are you? Adam and Eve had a perfect life. They lived in paradise, in perfect communion with the earth, with each other, and most importantly, with God. And a serpent ruined it all. Is it possible that serpent gets a bad rap? Or that he at least gets too much of the blame for God banishing Adam and Eve from the perfect existence they had enjoyed? I don't know. I wonder. That serpent slithered around, seizing upon every opportunity to convince Eve that she would be just fine outside of the will of God. Surely she would not die from eating of the forbidden fruit, he told her all the time. And eventually, she became convinced. And upon gaining the full knowledge of good and evil, she found herself naked and ashamed and afraid of God and what he might think and do. My name is Mary Moss, and my mission is to help you divinely design your words to heal the world. It sounds like a tough job for both of us, but trust me, God has great plans for both of us. I'm passionate about guiding you out of your hiding place, holding up a mirror to your story, and empowering you to share your story with the world. Because our stories are not for us. They're for the world. And the world needs our stories. Did you ever think about that? We're born into the world screaming and flailing, full of potential and promise. When did we start hiding from and what God made us to be? When did we lose sight of the divinely and uniquely designed person he intends us to be? How did we veer so far from who and what we hoped we could become? Oh, maybe you're at the fake it till you make it stage. You put yourself out there, or at least some version of yourself that you think the world wants to see, or that you want them to see. Because if we're honest, truly show up and show out authentically, who knows what people will think? They may judge us, reject us, hate us, take advantage of us, or worse of all, ignore us. That serpent didn't just show up one day able to convince Eve to go against what God had told her. He showed up often and was relentless. Over time, he did convince her that she didn't need God, or worse, that God didn't need her. Who are the serpents in your life? What are they? Who are the people, the places, events that stole from you that speck of the divine God breathed into you when you were conceived? An overly critical parent, a school bully, a teacher who ignored you, or worse, belittled you or discounted your ability? A friend who betrayed you, a spouse who abused you, a boss who harassed you. Over a lifetime, that serpent hisses his venom at every moment when we're the most vulnerable. We've learned not to speak up, not to stand out, sometimes not to even show up. While the people and events in the world may have disappointed, abused, and discounted us, God never has. He created us out of his pure love and a deep desire for a relationship with us. And it hurts him when we refuse what he has gifted us. But he does not abandon us, even though we fear we may have rejected his advances once too often. Isn't that what happened to Eve? Isn't that why she and Adam hid from God? They were sure that he would end his relationship with them, and it felt like certain death. But he didn't, and he doesn't do that with us. No matter how long ago, how often, or how well we've learned to hide from the world, that still small voice still calls to us, just like God called out, "Where are you?" to Adam and Eve. Adam could only mutter, "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked and I hid myself." Crazy, right? Adam hid from God. Even crazier, God knew where he was and didn't leave him in hiding, but pursued him all the more. And he continues to pursue us as well. To prove that he would never abandon us, God sent Jesus. He wanted us to realize and remember that his love was not dependent upon what others said or did to or about us. It's not dependent even upon our own actions, thoughts, or feelings. God loves us so much, he created each of us for a purpose in his kingdom. Isn't that incredible? But to be our authentic selves, to show up as who and what we really are, means that we can feel as if we are naked in front of the whole world. And I don't know about you, but I'm not always thrilled with what I see in the mirror. But guess what? It's time to come out of hiding. It's time to call out to God and say, as did Isaiah, "Here I am, send me." You don't need to be embarrassed or ashamed of your past. Everyone has a story to tell, and all of them aren't pretty or tied up with a bow. Most of us can recall times when we had said something hurtful, did something wrong. Perhaps we have embarrassing circumstances, homelessness, abuse, addiction, unemployment, or situations in which we found ourselves. We have the opportunity to turn everything in our lives into our victory anthem. When you show up to tell your story authentically and without shame, naked as Eve in the garden, no one else can twist and turn the details or make inaccurate assumptions. What happened in the past does not define you. It refined you. Those hurts, bumps, bruises, and near-fatal blows made you stronger, and the losses you experienced helped you appreciate what you have today. Don't you wish someone had shared their story with you back then? Wouldn't it have helped you walk out of the past? It's time to take control of the narrative that is our story. You are the author, and if you want the story told correctly, you must tell it, or someone else surely will. I get it. You've been beaten down, figuratively and perhaps literally, so many times. You've been discounted, ignored, belittled, pushed off and pushed away so many times. You don't even remember when you stopped trying. As far back as you can remember, you were told to sit down and be quiet. But I'm telling you, that story that is your life, those events and those relationships, those people and those situations that make up the tapestry of your life happened for a reason. They are your story, not anyone else's. Yours. It's your story to tell. God gave you the story so that you could turn it into something good and helpful, something powerful and healing for his world. Marianne Williamson writes some powerful truths, and sometimes they're not easy to hear. When I first read this following quote, it really resonated with me, so I'll share it with you now. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Wow. Did you ever think about it that way? I see you in the background. I see you doing the work, taking none of the credit, deferring to others, even though you have ideas of your own. I know how it feels to be in a room with others and have your ideas repeated by someone else as if it was their own, and they receive the accolades. Stop hiding, sister. It's time for you to shine. Step up on that stage. Speak your truth. Tell your story. The world is waiting, because your redemption story just might give someone else hope. Your salvation story might be someone's lifeline. Your unique and divinely designed story is intended to heal God's world. If you are ready to tell your story, I'm ready to help. Visit my website, divinelydesigned.us, to discover how to join my free Facebook Writers group, enroll in Writers Coffee and Conversations Club, or schedule a coffee chat with me to help figure out your next step. Let's do this. It's your time. The world is waiting.